De la right, my MVVs, welcome. Yes, so it is said that the day the monkey is, destined to die, all the trees become slippery. We have gotten this report yet again that Queen Naomi just stood there with her mouth open as Ebony breaks down in tears. She was crying that the Oloris have used something to turn the heart of the Ooni of Ife from her, and that is why the Ooni of Ife does not love her anymore. They said Olori Naomi was there when she was crying, that Naomi was just looking at her. Naomi did not even have anything to say to her, and that she was just there with her mouth open. She could not believe somebody as strong as Ebony, somebody that says that she knows the spiritual ways more than everybody, somebody that pride herself to be an agotrumbe and all of that, can be saying this, that the Oloris are using something to turn the back of the Ooni of Ife from her. And they say she was crying so much, like she cried and cried and cried, and she eventually packed her things, and she said she was leaving back to the UK. And that is why we say what goes around comes around, because it's only God who knows what they did to the Ooni of Ife that turned his back against Olori Naomi. And right now, this same thing is being done to Ebony. And Ebony is now in that place where she's beginning to realize how painful this is and appreciate the things that Olori Naomi has been through. You know that as bloggers and people who are not part of this whole revelation, we can sit back here and say a lot of things and wag our tongues and try to judge Olori Naomi, because I see a lot of people still judging Olori Naomi up until now. But you don't even know half of what Olori Naomi went through in the palace for her to have made that decision to get up and say she is not doing again. This is a palace that all the Oloris want to buy inside. Even when Kabiyesi say go, they don't want to go. You know why? Because of the beauty that comes with being the wife to the Ooni of Ife. It might not be that palatable. Ooni might not necessarily always be there for you, making love and doing all the sweet things that a man is supposed to do for you. But there are so many incentives with being the wife to the Ooni of Ife. People get to know you. You get to enter wherever you want to enter. Right now, I can tell you without doubt that these women, any of them can enter any governor's office. Any of them can go to Aso Rock. As far as you are the wife to the Ooni of Ife, you can see whoever you want to see. I talked about proximity. Proximity, is power. And that proximity is what is, endearing these women always to want to be with the Ooni of Ife, because they know that name of Jaja the second, the wife Mrs. Ogunsi, carries weight. But Naomi was all there. She was all alone. The man was married to her alone at that time. Naomi decided that she was going to leave. Have you ever asked yourself why Naomi will make that kind of decision? If you know Naomi is not a dumb person. Naomi is somebody who knows exactly what she is and what she wants out of life. For her to have gotten up to say, I am not marrying again, it is because it was a matter of life and death as at the time. Now, Ebony is saying that, allegedly, as it is rumored, that Ebony is saying that the wives to the Ooni of Ife, they are using jars, they are manipulating the Ooni of Ife to turn his back against her. Because right now, honestly, amongst the wives in the palace of the Ooni of Ife, if there's one person that does not see green light at all from the Ooni of Ife right now, is Ebony. That's why I said the other day, have you asked yourself why Ebony want to leave the monarch and go and stay in the UK for this long? How long? Ebony has not, been coming. The only time Ebony comes is to try and fix things, and she goes back and she comes again. She tries to do this, she goes back. It's because Kabiyesi has not been forthcoming at all, and that is something that is plaguing Ebony so much. But then again, when we talk about whether the wives are doing something to turn their back, to turn Kabiyesi's back against Ebony or not, we also have to put into consideration that there were times where it was looking as though Ebony was undermining the authority of the Ooni of Ife. That is, if this information is true, you do know that I do not live in the palace of the Ooni of Ife. I'm not related to any of them. These are all alleged, rumored, speculated information making the rounds on social media, okay? And I always say to Dela Writer, whatever information you get on social media, you want to take it with a pinch of salt, okay? And so now, there were times where it was beginning to look as if Ebony was undermining the authority of the Ooni of Ife. Remember one occasion where Oba Adefumi passed on in the United States, the king of Oyotunji community. If you remember, they said Kabiyesi had asked Ebony not to go, that he was sending Olori Naomi and Dr. Elizabeth to Yotunji community. And Ebony said that Kabiyesi has no right to tell her what to do. Kabiyesi should give orders to people that he cared about. Now, maybe that was just being emotional for Ebony, because as a woman, you will be angry if the man who is said to be your husband does not seem to care or act as though he does not care. But Kabiyesi is somebody that is not a push around. You cannot play with him that way, and you cannot say certain things and come back and begin to take them back. And so maybe that is also part of the reason why it's looking as if Kabiyesi is turning his back on Ebony, because right now their relationship is really bad, terrible, and all of that. Right now, as it is, Kabiyesi would even prefer to speak to people like Ikpi than to speak to Ebony. And Ebony is not finding that funny. Ebony is so upset, and Ebony cries every day. And that is why you see she's going and coming back, trying to fix things with the Ooni of Ife. But as we are hearing right now, Ebony is saying that these are not the problems. That the problems is that the Oloris are using something to turn the Ooni of Ife's back towards her, that she has gone to a lot of places. They have told her a lot of things, that a lot has been done in the palace to turn Kabiyesi's back from her, and she knows exactly the people that are doing this, and they feel that they are succeeding, but they will never succeed. Kabiyesi is the love of her life, and she loves Kabiyesi so much. She has always been there for Kabiyesi. She has suffered with Kabiyesi. If anybody think that they will just fold her hand and remove, meat from her hand and put stone, it will never happen. And everybody now is saying wood. It's a good thing that Ebony is testing, what she did to Olori Naomi, because it was the same thing they did to Olori Naomi. And though one might not necessarily want to say it was Ebony that did it, but a lot of people feel like Ebony was the one who was solely responsible for the things that happened between Olori Naomi and the Ooni of Ife. And everybody's jubilating right now that it is good for you to eat from the same place that you serve others, okay? You cannot serve others in a plate and forbid eating from that same plate. And what goes around comes around. Whatever a person sows, that is what they reap, and that is what everybody's saying. Ebony is really in a bad place, and she has been crying so much because she does not really know what to do with the Ooni of Ife again. I'm going to bring you more update. I appreciate you so much. Do not forget, these are all alleged, rumored, and speculated information making the rounds on social media.